Day 4 of Browns training camp is in the books, and it is on to an off day on Sunday. Pads on Monday. We'll get to that shortly. Let's take a look at this quarterback competition before we talk about what happened today, because obviously Kevin Stefanski has said they're going to huddle up on the off day. There could be some changes maybe when we get back here on Monday. So, Mary Kay, this is a very important stretch of time here, even though the Browns don't take the practice field until Monday afternoon.
It really is. I'm very curious to see what we are going to see when we come back here after this off day on Sunday. But my biggest takeaway from these first 4 days, from this first block of practices, it really seems to me that Joe and Kenny are in contention for the start at this moment. That's the way the reps have been working out. And then in terms of Kenny Pickett, I really feel like he did come back here with a greater understanding of the offense. He's more efficient. He's moving better. But above all, he's been using his mobility a little bit more over these last few days. We saw him pull it in and run for a 60-yard touchdown yesterday. He really used some good mobility today on some keepers and stepping away from pressure and things like that. So I think the lights are starting to come on for Kenny. And even though it's been slow and steady progress, I think as we move forward here, he might make a little noise in this competition.
Yeah, and that running thing is interesting, Ashley, because I thought that today. He broke off another nice run today. It seems like he's more comfortable doing that now than what we saw in the spring. Maybe that's an emphasis the Browns are making here in camp more than they were in the spring, but it just seems like he's more comfortable and more ready to do that here in training camp.
Yeah, I know Mary Kay's been pointing that out. Today was the day I really felt like I saw it. We were standing there watching one of the team periods, and I said, man, Kenny really can move. Like, it is kind of sneaky. So, yeah, I'm definitely curious what this thing is going to look like when we're back here on Monday. Personally, I feel like this is really becoming, even if they won't say it, even if it's not official, a two-man race between Joe and Kenny for that week 1 job, and they both offer different things, and that speed for Kenny is certainly going to be a big factor, I would assume, if he's going to win that job and surprise some people.
Well, let's talk about those rookie quarterbacks, though. Obviously, Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. It does seem that there is still a separation between the two in favor of Dillon Gabriel. But, Mary Kay, we've seen Shedeur Sanders get work with the second team in 11-on-11, and I think we've seen him make some positive progress here, especially in the last couple of days.
Absolutely, and I think that is probably the biggest question mark when we come back here on Monday. What is happening with Shedeur Sanders? Are they going to give him some more choice reps, some more quality reps? Maybe see what he can do a little bit more in 11-on-11s, and lo and behold, perhaps give him a rep or two with the starters. We haven't seen that yet. So will they do that, or will they keep just bringing him along kind of slowly? Today he did a modified 7-on-7 all by himself on a field, while the other 3 were on the opposite field. So they kind of have him in a special category of getting him up to speed as fast as they can so that he can remain a part of this competition. I'm anxious to see what Monday brings for him.
Yeah, that's still, I think, the caveat here, Ashley, is for as much progress as we're seeing him make, there was still that period today where he was over by himself and the other 3 quarterbacks were working on another field. So there is still that separation, but I think he's got a chance to close the gap here.
Yeah, and I think the good thing was when he was on that separate field, he got a lot of reps, right? Like Dillon Gabriel ended up doing a lot of standing around comparatively, and when you're talking about both players and needing to be developed, I think that's good. We saw Kevin Stefanski standing over there during that period, so he was getting some individualized attention. It's not like he's being totally ignored while he's off on that other field. So I do think he has a chance. He made a couple of plays today during the long red zone period that they did. He had a nice touchdown throw to Luke Floria. Like, we have seen some positive, but I do still think, again, the reps tell the story for me. It's not about what we think. The reps are giving some insight into where the Browns think he is, and I think that still is pretty clear.
Okay, a little bit of news. A guy you just saw walking behind us a few seconds ago, Cedric Tillman. Of course, he had left practice the other day, yesterday on Friday. Kevin Stefanski said today they dodged a bullet with that injury. It was a leg injury. He was out there practicing today, so that's good news, especially with this wide receiving core, Mary Kay, a group that I think can get very thin very quickly if injuries start to pile up.
Yes, it really can, and they have such high expectations for Ced this season. They need him to stay healthy. They need him to stay on the field. They really can't afford an injury to either Jerry Jeudy or Cedric Tillman, because after that, it's really a lot of young guys vying for time. Now, Cedric didn't come back and do a whole bunch of work today, but he was back out there. He was doing some things in individuals and some 7-on-7s I think I saw him in. But at least he was out there. That's great news.
And, of course, we know how big of a camp this is for Ced as he tries to establish himself in that number 2 job.
Yeah, again, I think Ced Tillman took a step forward. Last year, of course, then the concussion kind of derailed things, but it's about taking that next step and seeing, can he truly be that number 2 that this offense needs? And we saw a lot of good last year, and again, they avoided disaster yesterday with him having to miss any length of time.
And of course they're without Michael Woods as well, as he deals with a hand injury. We don't know how long he's going to be out. So mentioned it earlier, pads on Monday. So Mary Kay, when the pads go on, what are you looking forward to?
Well, all of the quarterbacks are going to have to deal with even more pressure. They're going to have to get the ball out quickly because there will be more would-be sacks. They can't have that kind of contact, but I am looking forward to seeing how the quarterbacks handle going against a defense where the guys can do a little bit more. They can show a little bit more in pads. The coverage is going to be tighter. The pass rush is going to become just a little bit more intense. So just how all these 4 quarterbacks are going to handle a defense that's ready to roll.
And Ashley, I think for me, it's like, we get a better look at the run game. I think when there's pads on, it's hard to get a read on the run game in general when they can't tackle to the ground. But I think with pads, it gives us a better idea. So hopefully Jerome Ford will be back out there. So I think that's something I'm definitely looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the tough part with this run game right now is missing Jerome Ford, especially, and then obviously no Quinshon Judkins as his legal issues continue to play out here. So it's been really hard to get a good feel for that. Maybe we'll get a better feel for that. But, yeah, I mean, I think truthfully as the pads come on, as Mary Kay said, for me, I don't even have a new point to add here. It really is all about what's going to happen in this, and as they kick it up a notch in this quarterback battle. I think that's going to be the thing everyone's watching.
Okay, we will have full coverage of everything that happened today, the first 4 days of training camp as well. I'm sure this machine you've been hearing behind us is going to turn off as soon as I hit stop. You can find it all at cleveland.com/Browns.